night, and it's 6 o'clock on the East Coast, which means Training Tuesday time. I'm so excited about tonight's topic. And you know what's funny is every Tuesday when I start preparing for Training Tuesday and for coming and sharing with you guys a theme or a thought for the week and areas where we want to grow our skills or develop or answer questions that you guys have asked me, like every week I literally sit here before I get on board and I'm like, this is my favorite topic ever. and I was having that same thought tonight as I was thinking about this. I was coming on and going, oh, this is my favorite topic. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I said that last week and the week before and the week before that. And all the topics are fun. Maybe that's why, because this is all the stuff, the things that we focus on here in Training Tuesday and in this group, right? In this Facebook group, are all the things that make up. These are the things that make up our lives. They make up our careers, they make up our relationships. And while we focus very much on leadership skills and confidence building and career goals, the truth is that it all impacts everything. It all impacts everything. So today's topic is get more hours back in your day and crush that deadline without losing sleep or sanity. And yes, it is possible. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. Because overcommitted and overwhelmed is not a leadership style. I have said that before and I will keep saying it. It is not a leadership style, and you don't need it. You don't need it. Nobody needs to feel that way. So, for those of you who have not joined us before, welcome to Training Tuesday. My name is Natalie Hahn. I am your hostess and your coach tonight, as well as CEO of Dirty Girls Consulting and Accelerating Leadership for Professional Women, which is the Facebook group you are in right now. So if you haven't been here before, welcome. Happy to have you here. If you have, welcome back. I love having you guys here every Tuesday. Genuinely my favorite night of the week. Genuinely every week the topic is my favorite topic. But tonight we are going to talk about your energy. So as always, I encourage you, say hello in the chat, say where you're from, tell us about your day, ask questions, comments, all of that good stuff. So, hey, Joyce, good to see you here. Love having you guys here, love the interaction, and we're going to dive in. So tonight what we're talking about when I say get more hours back in your day, crush those goals. Let's not lose sleep. Let's not risk our sanity. What I'm talking about is how do we manage our energy? And what are the choices we're making? Literally, what are the decisions we are making when it comes to where do we direct our energy and how do we direct our energy? So here's my promise. My promise is that when you pay attention to the choices you are making about where and how you are expending your energy, you can literally get hours back in your day. But it requires you to pay attention to where your energy is currently going and why you're making those choices, how that energy is being used, and what you're doing. So, can we agree that we have a finite amount of energy? There just comes a point in the day where you can't do anymore. You can't do anymore. There comes a point in the day where I can't do anymore, and I can tell you when that is. It's about 3 o'clock. Right about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I hit that low point. Maybe it's a sugar crash or whatever it is. I am at my best and brightest early in the morning. I get up early in the morning. My morning hours are my best hours. I have lunch. I'm good for an hour or two after that. And then, no bueno. Doesn't work. And I need a break. I literally need to get up, move around, go do something different, think, feel something else for a little bit before I can come back and say, second wind, and we're back at it again, right? My energy is finite, and so is yours. Hey, Jill, it's good to see you. Glad you're here tonight. Now, There's this place that my mother trained me. My mother's a very wise woman and trained me called the point of diminishing returns. And you might have heard the phrase. But what it basically means is that there comes a point where all this energy that you're giving, you're not getting anything back. Certainly not enough to justify the output. She watched me as when I was a teenager. I mean, she taught me this young. When I was a teenager, she was watching me grind away at things and work hard at things. And she would be like, you really ought to take a break. Because the point of diminishing returns is the point where you start making mistakes. It's the point where you're tired and you can't focus and you get short-tempered. And yeah, maybe you need a Snickers bar. Or maybe you just need to stop for a while. So it's that point where we put hours and hours in on that spreadsheet or working on that project, and now we're making mistakes, and now we can't focus, and now it's taking us 10 times longer than it should because we're at that point. The point of diminishing returns. We're in relationships where we're at the point of diminishing returns. Our output of energy to the relationship is not in balance with what we're getting back. So my mother taught me very young to start recognizing when you are at the point of diminishing returns, it is smarter to walk away. Take the break. Step back, replenish your energy, and then reassess. And maybe you need a different strategy. Maybe you just need more time. Maybe you just needed more energy. Maybe you need to do something different. We have a finite amount of energy that requires replenishment. Our energy requires us to find a way to refill the bucket, to rejuvenate ourselves, and to take care of ourselves. It requires it. And hey, Christine and Tracy are both here. Ladies, it's great to see you. Thank you for joining tonight. So, one element of this is we have a finite amount of energy. The other thing we have that is also finite is time. There's a finite amount of time. But the tricky thing with time is that we can't replenish it. Time, it just keeps going. It keeps moving along. We can't stop it. We can't control it. We can only manage how we use it. We can only manage our energy so that what we do with the time is more productive, more beneficial. It makes us happier. It fills our bucket. It gets things done. So we can't control the time, but time is finite and it keeps on moving. And we can control our energy, which is finite, but we can replenish it. So those are the two tools you have at your disposal. So my first question for you ladies tonight, first question, so I would love for you to answer in the chat. And Christine, don't quit your job just yet. Hold on, let's get through this first. And then maybe you do quit your job. That may be a relationship of diminishing returns. But my first question for you tonight is not about Christine's job. My first question for you tonight is about your energy. How do you feel when you've used your energy well? When you look back on a day, a weekend, a week, and you go, oh, that was time well spent. How does that feel? What are the feelings that come to mind? How would you describe that? So I would love for you to share that in the chat. I'm going to describe for you how I feel, but I would love to hear what that means for you. For me, when I look back at something and go, that was time really well spent, I think of accomplished. I think of satisfied and connected. So the words that come to mind when I was thinking about this was, I like feeling accomplished, like I've been productive and I've done something. I like feeling satisfied, so that my focus was on something that I feel like was good work, good job. And connected. I like feeling connected to, this was meaningful to me for whatever reason it was. So, oh, empowered, that's a good word. Good word, Tracy. Jill, in control. Yeah, because you are in control of your energy. And so that's excellent. So when we think about what that means, right? Time well spent means for Tracy that she's felt empowered with her time. It means for Jill that she's felt in control. She has been purposefully directing her energy. For me, it's about accomplished, satisfied, connected. For Christine, ego boost, right? Because it feels good, right? When we've managed our time and energy well, we feel good about ourselves. Worthy, strong, excellent. Yeah. So when we're in tune with what that feels like, that helps us start making decisions, right? It's making different choices about how we're actually using our energy and spending our time. So here's the ding. There are 6 areas in our life where we put our energy. 6 areas. Health, emotions, relationships, career, money, and, you might again, spirituality. Health, emotions, relationships, career, money, spirituality. Those are the 6 buckets where we generally spend our energy. And Joyce has recognizably accomplished, right? You can see it, right? Something you can measure. Totally, exactly. Totally get that. All right. Who you are. Who you are. The choices you make in each of those 6 areas, that's your life. Those are the 6 areas that pretty much encompass kind of everything in life. So the question is, what are you doing with those choices, right? What are the choices you are making about where you spend your time and your energy when it comes to health, emotions, relationships, career, money, spirituality? And what I want you to think about, what are the choices you're making in those areas? And what are the reactions that you're giving into? And they're not really a choice. You're devoting time and energy, you're expending your time and energy to things that you are reacting to rather than things you are choosing. Do you get the distinction? We spend a lot of time in reaction, right? Women are wired to be relational. We are wired to nurture and care for other people, which means we are wired, and we often do, Herculean feats for friends, for family, for strangers, but for other people. We do amazing things to help other people. Tasks we would not do for ourselves, we will do for other people. So when that friend is sick, we rush to their side. We bring them chicken soup. We bring them a book, a movie, whatever. When somebody's having a birthday or expecting a baby, we are the first ones. I'm going to plan that party for you. I'm going to get that 6-layer cake. Don't you worry about a thing. When our boss says, hey, I need this thing and I need it in the next 30 minutes, what do? We drop everything. Of course, you'll have that right away. We are the first ones to jump in and do that. When a coworker says, I'm really struggling with this project, I don't think I'm going to finish it on time, what do? We say, how can I help? That's what we do. We give away our energy all the time. Every moment of every day, we are giving our energy away without the thought of, is this making me feel accomplished? Am I feeling empowered by doing this? Is this worthy of my time? Am I truly consciously in control and choosing how I spend my time and energy? Or am I just reacting to the situation at the moment? There's a fallacy that we fall into, because when we don't think about who's truly benefiting from our use of energy in that moment, we have this rationalization that says, yes, but later I will have more time. But remember, time doesn't stop. We don't get more of it. It doesn't get replenished. Our energy can get replenished, but our time does not. But we have this fallacy that says one day, when the kids are grown, when my parents are in the nursing home and I don't have to care for them anymore, or when they've passed on, or maybe while they're still healthy, but the kids are old enough and I've got this window of time. But one day, I will focus on me. We think there's a one day. where magically all of our responsibilities and all of the pressures and all of the cares are going to disappear, and I'm just going to focus on me. And here's the deal. There's no such day. You're never done. You're never done being a daughter, a sister, a cousin, a friend, a mother. You're never done with those roles, which means every day of your life there will be something and someone who needs and wants something from you. That's just part of life. And in combination with this thought that one day I will be free and I will just focus on me, we also forget that when that day comes, if we have suppressed the who we are, that what makes us tick, what are our goals, what are we trying to accomplish, what really makes our energy sing, if we've suppressed that for so long because we've been so busy reacting to what everybody else wants from us, we don't know anymore when you get there. We don't know what it means to take care of ourselves or what to do with our time, right? One of the biggest midlife crises that women have is when they become an empty nester, or they're in the next phase of their career or their relationship, and they're like, for me, you guys have heard me talk about this when I got divorced, like, who am I now? What's my role? Right? When I got divorced, I didn't know what kind of art I liked. And the ironic thing is, I'm a huge fan of art. My parents are collectors of art. I've been surrounded by art my whole life. I married an artist. I divorced an artist, but I married an artist. My daughter's an artist. I myself like collecting art. Like, I love art, but I didn't know what I wanted in my house to represent me. The first day I became an empty nester, and I think you guys have heard this story before, but I do have a son who lives with me now, but he didn't live with me all the time. He came back. But when there was the first day that all three kids were out of the house, all three were gone, the first day, I did not last, if I do the math, I was going to say 24 hours, but actually it was 12. I did not last 12 hours as an empty nester. I literally dropped. My youngest one had already moved out. My older two were resettling in LA, and my middle one was actually the one who was moving, the last one to leave, who was moving to LA. I literally went to LA, moved them into their new apartment, took a 10 o'clock red-eye flight back to the East Coast, landed at 5 in the morning, and by 9 in the morning, so less than 12 hours, in 11 hours, I had a new puppy. I had something else to take care of and to distract me because I was reacting. Oh my God, there's no one in the house to take care of anymore. What am I going to do? I'm so used to having to feed somebody and take somebody places and do things. I replaced my kids with a puppy. So here's the thing that we do really well. We rationalize why we do these things. And Joyce, the thing you said there is perfect. It always feels easier to help someone else with their problems, right? Not our problem, so I can just avoid it. Avoidance that's a topic for a whole other training Tuesday. In fact, I don't think avoidance is something we could do a full master class on, right? That's a deep topic because we all do it. We all do avoidance. So one, helping somebody else with their problem is avoidance. Two, we mask it as helping someone else with their problem makes me feel better. Why does it make me feel better? Because I'm helping somebody. That's how we mask it. But is that truly the best use of your time? Case in point, we waste energy helping people who don't need the help. So a month or two, this is a couple months ago, my youngest son, who has since moved back in, so he lives with me now, but he's 21, so he's an adult by legal standards, had a minor injury. Wasn't a huge deal, but it was bugging him. And I had been saying to him, you really should go see the doctor for that. Go to urgent care or a clinic or something like that, but you really should see. And he's like, you're right, I should go do that. And like a day or two goes by, and he still hasn't done it. He's still, I forget, I think it was something with his hand. But anyway, he was still nursing his injury and moaning. And I was like, but you really should go see somebody. He's like, I know, I'll get around to it. So like by day 4 or 5 of this, I'm tired of watching him walk around. And I know if he would just go to urgent care or go see the doctor or something, somebody would take care of this for him and he'd be out of pain, right? So what do? I'm in reactive mother mode. So I take 30 minutes out of my day and I start looking at what are the different urgent care clinics and where's the nearest emergency room and what makes the most sense. Could he just walk in? Should he make an appointment? What would be fastest? What's going to fit in his work schedule? And I make him an appointment at urgent care because, by the way, I don't know if this is where you guys are, but where we are, most of the urgent care clinics prefer you to make an appointment rather than walk in. So much for urgent care. But anyway, I made him an appointment. And then I went and said, hey, Liam, I made you an appointment for 5 o'clock today. So go to this clinic at this time and they're going to take care of your injury. He was like, oh yeah, well, I was going to go out and check things out today anyway, Mom. So yeah, thanks for that. Whatever. So that was at like 11 in the morning. At 1 in the afternoon, I get a text going, hey, swung by this other urgent care and they saw me and they gave me the thing I needed. I was like, great. You can cancel that appointment that I made, that I spent 30 minutes making for an adult child, who, by the way, because he's an adult child, I shouldn't be able to make appointments for him anymore. What was that? That was me being reactive. That was me being a mother. That was me taking care of my baby. That was me. He's my youngest after all. That is me also being controlling. And who did it benefit? No one. Didn't even benefit Liam because he went and he did what he was going to do all along. He went and found his own way to solve the problem, right? So who's benefiting when we are reactive and we are stepping into a situation or taking care of a thing that really isn't aligned with our thing? So how we spin it in our head. The rationalization is, I'm being helpful. I'm supporting the team by helping this coworker. I'm being helpful to my boss by getting that thing done. But what we're really thinking, the real driver, is I want to be liked by my coworker. I want my boss to notice my work so I get that promotion or I get that raise. I don't want them to think I'm slackers. I don't want to be judged as being incompetent. We spin, I'm going to help with the party and I'm going to do this to support my friend and I'm going to do all those things and I'm going to volunteer here and I'm going to go over there, as I love to be engaged, I love to be involved. Or maybe we have a little bit of FOMO going on. We're afraid of not being included. We're afraid we're going to miss something good. The other way we rationalize these things is guilt. We use guilt to rationalize why we do or don't do something. Guilt is a choice, by the way. Guilt is a choice. I need to do this thing for nasty Aunt Patty because I don't want to deal with her emotional consequences. I don't want to deal with it. I'll feel guilty. I'll feel terrible. She's old anyway, and she really needs help. Even though she's nasty and she's never been nice to me or the kids, I'm going to do it anyway because I don't want to deal with it. We're rationalizing doing things that do not help us achieve our goals, live the kind of life we want to live, be who we want to be, or do all the things. I'm going to work 4 extra hours on a Saturday or a Sunday night, or I'm going to work late into the night on a Tuesday. Why? Because I might get fired. My boss might think I'm not committed. We rationalize these reactions that we have. So here's the deal. Getting hours back in your day. Reclaiming your time. Getting those hours back in your day. Because they're there. I guarantee you, for every one of you, and me included, for every one of us, the hours are there. The minutes are there for us to take back. But to do it, you have to be honest. You can't get around it. You have to be honest with yourself about it. You have to be honest about what your true priorities are, about what you really want out of this life, how you really want to be spending your time, and then you have to make that number one. If you continue to rationalize, what you will continue to do is have a million excuses for why you're not doing the thing, whatever your thing is. Tony Robbins says, the decisions we make control us more than the conditions we meet. The decisions we make control us more than the conditions we meet. I love that sentence because what he is basically saying is what you choose to do every moment of every day has a way bigger impact on your life, the quality of your life, how you spend your time, where you put your energy, how you feel about your life. The decisions and choices you make every day have more to impact that than the things that happen to you, because things happen to all of us. We still have control of the choice that we make in what we're going to do in that condition. And that is the quality of our life. Why is this important? This is important. I want you thinking about decisions. What did I say I wanted you to think about? I wanted you to think about energy and time and the choices you make, because you make 35,000 decisions a day. 35,000 decisions a day. So I said overwhelmed and overcommitted is not a leadership style, right? It's no way to live. It's no way to live. But 35,000 decisions every day, that's a hell of a lot of decisions. And a ton of decisions are the ones we put on autopilot, right? Do I brush my teeth? Is that really a decision? Should I put on clothes before I leave the house? Is that a decision? Do I eat? Yeah, the answer is yes. These are decisions. We create routines, right? For example, your morning routine, because it frees up our brain to do other things. For example, a more important decision is not do I eat, but maybe it's making sure my kids get a good breakfast. Or maybe the decision I want to make is my morning routine's on autopilot so that I can free up my brain to think about the presentation I'm delivering in 2 hours and to prepare for that. Even the little decisions have a huge impact, have big consequences on our life if we are not thoughtful about them. So that decision to brush your teeth, is that really a choice? It kind of is. You work it into your morning routine or you don't. My daughter once actually dated a boy in college, and at some point while they were dating, he admitted to her that he sometimes forgets to brush his teeth, that like his morning routine is not quite so down, and he sometimes forgets to brush his teeth. And when she told me that, I was like, that relationship's over. And yes, it was. Consequences of this nice boy not remembering to brush his teeth was that my daughter wanted nothing more to do with that, right? There are consequences. The decision to get dressed. Yeah, it's a choice. You could live in a nudist colony and not. But even for those of us who do actually get dressed every day, I want you to think about that, because it's not just the decision to get dressed. It's the what you wear. It's the how you wear it. It's the color. It's this is how I express myself with what I'm wearing. So what does that say about me? What are other people going to think when they see me in this? All those thoughts go on. So it's not just one decision. It's many. And that one little decision of, do I get dressed this morning? The decision to eat. What am I going to eat? When am I going to eat? Where am I going to eat? How am I going to eat? Am I going to be healthy? Am I going to have sugar today? How much caffeine can I have? These are all choices. So now you start to see how 35,000 decisions add up, right? How do we take 35,000 choices every day and turn them into the powerhouse that doesn't leave you feeling like you need more time, or you've wasted time, or there's just too much to do? How do we do that? All right, so here are the 3 steps I promised you guys. You want to take time back. You want to get more time in your day. You want more hours, more time. You want to have more of a balance so that you choose what's replenishment energy time and what's expend the energy time. Then the first thing you have to do is prioritize and have clarity. You need to know what makes you feel empowered, what makes you feel productive or accomplished or in control or worthy or strong. You need to know what it is that makes you feel that way, which means you need to be connected with your why. Why? What's your purpose? What's your mission? What fills your bucket and gives you zing and energy? When you know what that is, you start making choices then around that priority. I started this by saying, and it's absolutely true, Tuesday nights are my favorite nights. And every time I sit down and do a training Tuesday, every week before I hit the go live button, I'm thinking, this is my favorite training ever. This is the best training. Why? Because this is the stuff that lights me up. talking about this stuff. How do we manage things better? How do we do things better? What does it mean to be a high performer? What does it mean to be an ambitious woman? How do we be ambitious women and crush those goals and get that promotion and get that raise and still be sexy and smart and funny and have all the things? I love this stuff. That's part of my why. Now, if you're struggling a little bit with the why part, that's okay. That's why you need the time to think about it and get the clarity. And one of the exercises I do that I do recommend that you do to help you with your why is I always say tap into your wise woman. Your wise woman is that future version of you 20, 30, 40 years down the road. What's she doing? Spend some time just journaling. Write it down. 30 years from now, where am I living? What do I look like? What am I doing with my time? What am I eating? What are my hobbies? Who am I with? How do I feel? Tap into that. When you know what that future vision of you is, who's 30 years smarter, then you can sit and go, okay, what choices can I make today that are going to get me closer to her? Because she's pretty cool, right? So prioritize. Have clarity around your why, around what makes you light up, what it is you want to accomplish, what are your goals, who's that wise woman? That's 1. 2, it's going to be tactical, it's going to be grindy, you're going to hate it, but the number 1 tool of high performers, men and women both, number 1 tool of high performers, time blocking. You got to own your calendar. You got to own your time. You've got to be in control of what goes on your calendar and how much time and energy you're spending on that, which means you create a calendar that blocks your needs first. My calendar, I block days I'm going to run. I block out my running days. I block out my yoga days. I block out specifically, this is when I'm going to spend 2 hours preparing for Training Tuesday. This day, this time. This is when I'm going to spend 2 hours working on the workshop we're delivering in a couple weeks. This is when you block it out and you get specific about what you're blocking out. Because I used to just put like a 4-hour block on my calendar going, Dirty Girls. That's all it said, Dirty Girls. Going to work on my coaching practice. But then I'd sit down and go, what should I focus on first? Maybe I'll scroll through Facebook and see what people have commented. Maybe I'll write an email or 2. Maybe I'll do this or that. And 4 hours would go by and I was not feeling accomplished or satisfied or connected. I was feeling like I spent 4 hours and I probably could have gotten more done. I wasn't focused. And I wasn't time blocking properly. Putting a chunk of time on my schedule wasn't time blocking. You need to know specifically what you're doing. This is a tool of high performers because when you time block and say, I've got 30 minutes to do this, or I've got an hour to do this, that is focus time. You're not multitasking. I'm not scrolling through Facebook at the same time that I am preparing for a Training Tuesday. When I'm preparing for a Training Tuesday, I'm doing research. I'm doing reading. I'm writing down notes. I'm creating the promos, right? I'm writing the copy. I'm writing the emails to let all you guys know what's the topic this week. I'm designing the photo, right? That's what I'm doing. I turn off my phone. I am not looking at my phone for text messages. I'm not checking the Facebook scroll. I actually have that turned off on my computer, the Facebook scroll, the feed, you can do that, so that I am not distracted, because multitasking is not a leadership skill either, by the way. So you've got to use the time to focus. You've got to time block. You've got to use the time to focus. And yes, you time block your free time. I time blocked my weekend so that I knew this past weekend that I was spending 6 hours, both Saturday and Sunday, in an art workshop. And that was my time to do art, to go do fun, silly things. Time block my free time. So I also know when I'm in free time, I am free. Your free time is more free when you schedule it. Because now I know I can afford to have that girls' night out next week because I've scheduled all my time to get all my priorities done. So time blocking is hugely cool. in terms of managing your schedule, managing your time, helping you feel in control. And yes, there are times and days when the world goes sideways and your schedule gets all messed up. Just last week, my son crashed his car. I don't remember if I mentioned that last Training Tuesday. He crashed his car. He's fine. Car is not fine. But that resulted in the flurry of calls around the tow truck and around insurance and all fun stuff. But it interrupted my day, which meant I had to go look at my time block and go, okay, that hour that I blocked out for this activity, I can't do it here anymore because now I'm on the phone with the insurance company. So now I have to move it to a different day. But it gives me the flexibility to do that. I'm still making choices. I'm still in control of my time. So 1, prioritize and have clarity around your priorities. 2, time block. Use this tool. 3, you need to create a practice that connects you every day with your why and your wise woman. You need some sort of daily practice that reminds you of what your priorities are and why they matter to you. So for me, it's a meditation practice, right? I sit down every day and I meditate. I've shared this with you guys. On really busy days, it's 10 minutes, but it's 10 minutes. On not as busy days, I have more time in my morning. I might go as long as an hour. But meditation is what helps me kind of reground into what do I want my life to look like? How am I going to show up today as a leader? What am I going to do to make a difference and to feel accomplished at the end of the day? For you, it might be meditation. It might be journaling. It might be going for a walk. It might be repeating a mantra in the shower. I don't care what it is. Whatever works for you to reground to, these are my priorities. This is the life I'm trying to create. So this is what matters. And the reason I want you to do that every single day is because when you do that, when you honor your why, you will stick to the schedule. That schedule, that time blocking schedule, it's great to create a schedule. We could do it all in a Google and then we can just ignore it. You need to honor it. There's no time management. There's no work-life balance. There is no hours back in your day if you do not honor your schedule. And you're only going to honor your schedule if you are connected to why the schedule matters in the first place. The other thing that this allows you to do when you reground your why every day, it allows you to say yes to the opportunities, to the priorities, to the schedule. It allows you to say yes to what's important to you. We have such a hard time saying no to the other stuff. We have a hard time saying, no, I can't help you with that project. No, I can't work extra hours tonight. No, I'm not going to put together that birthday party or bake that cake. We have a hard time saying no, and we forget that every time we say yes, that's what we're allowing. That is what we're allowing in our lives. That's where we're saying yes to our energy and yes to our time. So we want you to practice saying yes first to your priorities. Say yes first to the wise woman that you're going to be in 20 or 30 years, to that vision, to making that happen. When you say yes first to those things, then you can genuinely look at everyone else that's pulling at you, who's not a priority, who's not changing your world, to say, no, I'd love to help you with that birthday party, but I'm fully booked. I'd love to help you with that project, but I'm not going to have time to work on that till Thursday. It gives you the room and the space to say yes to what matters and to truthfully negotiate, if you need to, how you spend your time on the other things. So, how do you get more hours back in your day? You do it by prioritizing and having clarity on your priorities, by time blocking, using a high performance tool to manage your time, and creating a practice to stay in touch, to stay connected with your why, so that you honor the time blocking and you honor the wise woman. All right. Those are your 3 tips today for getting more hours back in your day. I mentioned it earlier, so before I let you guys go, I just wanted to mention again, workshop. We have a workshop coming up at the end of the month on the 29th. It is a free workshop. I was messing around with it a little bit. I was messing around with it a little bit. I was actually talking to another coach. Her name is Dion. She's fabulous. But I was telling her about this workshop, and we were talking about the fact that maybe the title, Balance and Boundaries, you guys have heard me promote this, maybe the title isn't super sexy, And as I was telling her what it was about, she goes, as you're talking about, feeling overwhelmed and overworked and the boss asking for extra time or extra projects and people asking for help, she's like, the only thing that keeps coming up in my head, she goes, it's just this phrase. She goes, enough already. And I kind of love that. So that's what I called it. So it's still balance and boundaries, which is exactly what it is. And it's very plain and to do. But I called it enough already. Balance and boundaries to gain freedom and success and joy without the stress and anxiety and frustration and all that stuff. So that workshop is Thursday, the 29th. 6 o'clock Eastern time. It will run about 3 hours because this is an active workshop. So we will be talking to each other live. We'll be going through exercises that first describe why having balance and boundaries, why knowing your priorities. So it's very much related to everything we're talking about tonight. Why this is a leadership skill. It's one thing that it's about establishing balance. You have time to take care of yourself and you're doing a good job at work and you're getting respect and all of that. Yes, it's all that. Yes. And more. And how we show up as leaders is directly tied to how well we manage our boundaries and how well we maintain balance. So that's a big part of the workshop, in addition to the actual scripts that we'll talk about of how you hold your boundaries with grace professionally and personally. We're going to talk about how you create that balance. We're going to be creating your personalized plan for balance and boundaries. So I'm inviting you all. The workshop Thursday night. I'm inviting you all to sign up. The workshop is free. Got some extras thrown in there. It's called Enough Already. Balance and boundaries. I still like balance and boundaries. I like alliteration. I was a lit major. I don't know. So join the workshop. If you don't have the link already, because I was promoting it in the group, I started talking about it last week, I think. Drop the word workshop in the comments. I will send you the link again. But I'd love to see you guys there. This is going to be very, I was going to say intense. I don't mean intense in a scary way. I just mean we're going to be connected and getting our hands dirty and really getting into the work of setting up boundaries, of understanding what balance looks like for you, which is going to be different than what it looks like for me or for other people in the workshop. So join in. Would love to see you guys there. We're going to have a good time. And like I said, if you want to join the workshop, drop the word workshop in the comments. I will send you the link. In the meantime, thank you for joining me for another Training Tuesday. Thank you, Jill and Terry. Fantastic. Joyce, I will send the workshop information your way. And I will talk to you guys again. See you in the group. Have a fabulous night.